So yeah, the closed beta was in May of this year. We'll be sending a survey out to all our testers. We appreciate your time to share thoughts and feedback so we can continue to improve the quality of your experience. So, did the beta test not go well? If they're delaying the game because they want it to be just perfect on the release date, doesn't need this huge day one patch, things like that, then fine. If they're delaying it and it comes out trash, there's going to be a way more negative reception on this game than there would be if they just didn't delay it at all. So I'm wondering if the beta test went a little poorly. So apparently Jared at the gamers joint did play Kingdom Hearts missing, or maybe he just got some information for it. I don't know if he played it or not, but I do want to take a look at this to see how the beta test went, because I didn't really keep up with it as much. I mean, I think after this beta test, I kind of put my head down on it a little bit and just was just waiting for more official news to come out. So let's check this out.
Alright guys, let's talk about Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, the issues the game is facing within its current state, and the things that the game needs. Now it's important to know that all of the information that's presented in this video is from Missing Link's beta, so obviously a lot of things are due and subject to change. Square Enix have even provided a survey for all beta participants to provide feedback on the game based on their experience. However, I do know that because this is Kingdom Hearts, a lot of people that aren't usually into mobile games are interested in Missing Link. I want to provide a little bit of insight
sort of
the experience.
I will say that Missing Link has me wanting to play it because it's Kingdom Hearts. And I don't know if that necessarily if you can necessarily credit Missing Link for making non-mobile game players like converting them in a way, because it's their game. You know what I mean? It's their series. It's the game that they follow. So naturally people are gonna want to try it out no matter what platform it's on. I did the same thing with Unchained Key or Union Cross, whatever it was. I played that, and I'm not a mobile game player at all. I will say though, I am more likely to just watch someone play it or just like watch the cutscenes. Because like I said, I'm just not a mobile player really.
Especially for casual goers, as there are some issues here that unless Square Enix do resolve them before the final full release, there may be some aspects of this game that will be a turnoff. Before we begin, I absolutely have to thank Sai for being my inside man. He got access to the second round of the beta testing, and he's provided so
this
much
is not
information
his
here.
playthrough.
This video wouldn't be possible without him. So I think we should begin with casually playing Missing Link. What is this experience like, especially for people that do not like the Pokemon Go GPS-based mobile game? I know this is the biggest turnoff for Missing Link for a lot of people.
Yeah, the GPS thing I'm not looking forward to.
How often do you actually need to go outside in order to be able to play this game? So the Astral Dimension is the core of the game's experience. The Astral Dimension is basically our real world, and anything you're doing there is the bulk of the progression of the game in regards to gathering resources, leveling up, fighting enemies, collecting brand new character pieces, which are your abilities. You are able to explore the Astral Dimension without needing to physically leave your home. However, this is where AP comes in, one of the game's main resources. AP can be used to access touch mode, allowing you to go out into the Astral Dimension without you physically needing to leave your house.
Okay. So what does this mean though? Does this mean that there's gonna be some kind of like shop where you can buy AP to not have to leave your house? Like, am I gonna need real world money in order to get AP? Or if not, is it gonna be like a crazy slow grind to get more AP? That's what I would like to know. And that would be one of the number one things I'm afraid of. If they make it so that getting AP organically is frustrating, or not even frustrating, but like so tedious to the point where you would rather give up your money than to deal with getting AP, then there's a couple of things wrong with that. One, they're forcing people to do things that a lot of people just won't want to do. They're like cutting their player base by a significant amount. And two, that would mean that also they don't believe in their gameplay loop enough to make it rewarding to play the game. Does that make sense? Like if the game is constantly pushing you to spend your money on getting AP because getting a good amount of AP to progress in the game at a reasonable rate is basically impossible, then that means, to me, playing the game is a waste of time. In a way. That's the subliminal message that I would get from that. But hey, the game's not out yet, so that's all. That's my worry with things like this, especially with mobile games.
However, every single thing you are doing within touch mode, fighting enemies, taking on area bosses, finding chests, is going to cost you AP, versus physically going out into the real world, doing any of these activities will actually garner you AP. So you look at it this way, going out physically is going to generate the resource that is used to be able to play the game at home. I asked Sai, how often do you believe the game...
Did I hear that right? Did he say that using touch mode costs AP while going out into the world garners AP? Like, are those the only two? Like, are those the only way to do those things?
AP versus physical astral dimension without you physically needing to leave your house. However, every single thing you are doing within touch mode, fighting enemies, taking on area bosses, finding chests, is going to cost you AP, versus physically going out into the real world, doing any of these activities will actually garner you AP. So you look at it this way, going out physically is going to generate the resource that is used to be able to play the game at home. I asked Sai, how often do you believe the game is wanting you to actually go outside? And is there other means of being able to also generate AP? Now, he mentions that with his commute to work, he would chuck the game on autopilot mode, basically hands-free mode. The game will just play for him and will generate AP while he's driving to work. This netted him about 8,000 AP going to work and back every single day. Now, how long this AP lasts is dependent on what you're doing, but because this is a mobile phone game and grind is definitely a part of the equation, the game is most definitely going to be asking you to have a lot of AP on hand in order to play in touch mode to get everything you need to get done. As an example, if we're looking at the posts of the pieces, these are the encounters that you'll take on, and if you're victorious, you'll then get the corresponding pieces. A 1-star costs 800 AP, a 2-star costs 900 AP, a 3-star costs 1000 AP, and if it's a shiny version to any of these, you add an additional...
This is a problem to me. This is a problem to me. Because I don't know if he said how long his commute was. I don't know why 25 minutes is in my head. Maybe he said 25 minutes. I don't know. Let me go back. I'm going to see what the commute, if he said his commute. Because I don't want to. Okay, so he did not say how long his commute was. But he said 8,000 AP to work and back on his commute. So, I mean, let's just say at minimum 20 minutes to work and 20 minutes back. So 40-minute commute. Let's just say at the very minimum. He said he was driving to work. So, yeah, let's say minimum 20 minutes. Very minimum, right? So 40 minutes would get you 8,000 AP driving. And from the looks of it, a normal treasure chest is 1,000. So like a normal encounter is about 1,000. A 2-star piece, about 900. 3-star piece is about 1,000 too. So that would mean on average for 40 minutes, let's just say it's 40 minutes. I don't know the exact timing, but with the information that we're given, if that were the case, if a 40-minute commute there and back would be 8 actions you can take at home. I can't imagine that those encounters are very long when you're just fighting enemies. So I'd imagine, like, let's say that like each interaction is like 3 minutes long, maybe. Unless it's like a boss, maybe 5, right? Or like 6, something crazy, right? Let's say 3 on average. So that's 24 minutes of gameplay. And this is all speculation with like very little data that I don't have, right? But like, I'm just putting numbers out there. Also, he has to put the game on hands-free mode while he's driving. Like, first of all, that's dangerous. Second of all, that's annoying to have to do. This is a problem, man. Like, this is a problem, and I don't think I know I'm definitely not gonna want to be dealing with that. I'm not gonna be trying to deal with that, and I can't imagine that the majority of players are going to want to do this. And I'm wondering, I believe that just this by itself is a huge point of contention with the player base. It has to be. There's no way that it's not. I feel like they're trying to rebalance AP per encounter, or even trying to figure out how you can earn AP in different ways.
Any version to any of these, you add an additional 500 AP on top of that. And it's important to know that you'll likely be grinding these piece posts, as once a piece has hit level 40, which is leveled up via the use of just basic resources, any additional levels from 40 through to 50 requires you to have duplicates of the piece you're trying to level up. As an example here, Sai has mentioned to get from 40 to 50, you'll need to have 55 additional copies of that said piece. Now this does get me worried for pieces that might not be available via the astral plane, playing the game, but rather exclusively attached to a banner. I really can't see Square Enix doing this, because that is asking just way too much of the player in regards to their wallet. And there are some stat bonuses a part of the growth log, which is another one of Missing Link's core progression aspects that can only be unlocked if you get a specific piece to level 45 and 50. So you can see here that it's encouragement to build your pieces as strong as possible, but if they're not available on the astral plane, this automatically creates a kind of pay-to-win situation. Or if you just simply do not have enough AP because you're not physically going out into the real world, then you will be left behind. Looking at other methods of getting AP, you can spend activity coins to buy it. However,
oh my gosh, activity coins now, bro. Okay, how many currencies are we gonna have in this game? We're gonna have, okay, already we have AP and now we have activity coins. How many activity gems do we need to buy activity coins, bro? How many? And you know what? I don't know why I feel like I'm like shocked or like I'm surprised by this, because I mean they did the same thing with Union Cross. It was a grind fest, so I guess I can't act surprised that it's this way, but I think I just had more hope, and I think I was expecting better. I was expecting more, because they're spending so much time on this game. And you know what? Maybe because they're spending so much time, they want their money back. They want to recoup the cost. Fine, whatever. But Jeez, bro. Like, do we really need to go this far? I'm really curious as to how many currencies are going to be brought up in here. So this is 2 already. And don't forget your actual money, really. So 3 currencies, but 2 in-game currencies so far.
These activity coins are accumulated via doing things in the astral plane. So it's all kind of interconnected. Basically, what this means is, yes, the game certainly does want you to go out into the real world, and while there are methods of being able to play the game at home without needing to go out, the core experience of Missing Link is very much a Pokemon Go styled game.
Okay, but so if doing things in the astral plane garners you activity coins, you can only get activity. Wait, okay, here we go. So, activity coins allow you to buy AP, which I am assuming means activity points. Activity coins allow you to buy AP. Doing things in the astral plane allow you to get activity coins so you can buy AP. However, you need AP to do things in the astral plane. So, you can only get activity coins so long as you have activity points. You can only get activity coins if you have AP. And you can only have AP if you have activity coins. But once you run out of AP, you can't do things in the astral plane anymore, so you can't get any more activity coins, which means you can't get any more AP. Am I getting this? Am I understanding this? Let me know if I'm misunderstanding this. Is this what it is? Is this what it is? And then you go outside to go get more activity points, like in the real world, I suppose.
You can still play the game casually in the sense of enjoying the story experience, and I think for most people looking at like the casual audience, this is probably what they're going to be doing, so long as Square Enix don't make it that story quests are at a ridiculous level, and without actually grinding, again needing to go out into the real world, you can't progress past this story quest. I'm sure that for the sake of accessibility, hopefully, Square Enix will make it so that these story quests can be played by people that aren't constantly playing Missing Link and don't need absolutely ridiculous setups with maxed gear, maxed pieces. You can pretty much look at AP like the energy resource system for Missing Link. It's very similar to those other mobile phone games that use the same type of thing, or like, let's say Farmville, for example. You know, you've got an energy resource, and if all of that's used, you pretty much can't do anything else in the game until the next day once it's replenished, though I don't believe AP replenishes. Though I'm sure there will probably be like daily login rewards that will likely give you little AP boosts. The thing is, how a lot of
your daily login reward is going to be like 500 AP, which you can't do anything with, at least according to that chart. I didn't see anything for that less than 900 AP.
Games monetize themselves is via being able to actually purchase this energy resource for money. The player's sitting there, they desperately want to play more and more, grow stronger and stronger, you know, get their farm to like industrial level. Well, they'll obviously be enticed to purchase energy packs. Right now in the beta, there is no method of being able to actually spend money, buy jewels in order to then use those jewels to purchase AP. I'm on two sides of the fence about this because in a way, it certainly does create a pay-to-win situation, though this can be said for basically any mobile phone game, and I think that like pay-to-win is definitely part of a mobile phone game's DNA. I think it's just that thing of if the player wants to be able to just simply play at home like a console experience, they can swipe their credit card in order to get infinite amounts of AP and not have to leave their house. That's a decision that's up to them, and it's their money they're spending.
Is that not at all? Is that not exactly what I said? Is that not exactly what I said? That they're gonna make it to the point where grinding for AP is going to be so unbearable that you would rather spend the money to be able to play at home. And the main thing that worries me the most is that gameplay loop. I don't think they believe in the gameplay loop enough. But this is also me coming in as a casual, like less than casual mobile player. So this might just be how all of them are. Maybe they all have like trash gameplay loops. Maybe they do. I don't know. But that's kind of what it says to me.
Yeah, no doubt Square Enix will generate so much money through AP packs, but at that point, I guess they're kind of taking away the core experience of what Missing Link is. Hands-free mode, though, is definitely a savior in this situation because for most people, they are commuting to work, they have to go out and get groceries or, go see their grandmother. Whilst driving or traveling wherever they might be going, they just chuck the game into hands-free mode and they accumulate AP.
But again, bro, though, doing that on a commute is dangerous and annoying. That is not something that they should be like expecting people or promoting people or asking people to do. Like, okay, not everybody drives. You can take a bus or a train or whatever. But still, to have to do that, man, is so annoying. Again, casual mobile player here. I don't know, man. Maybe you guys are used to it. I don't know. I'm not used to it, and I don't think I ever will be. And I work from home. I work remote. I don't commute nowhere. So I'm just out of luck, bro.
Just like that. Though you should definitely know that a lot of the core activities that you find out in the astral dimension, like chests or peace posts, can only really be found on main roads and streets. This means that for people that are only traveling via train or motorway, you're not going to benefit as greatly. Now, the reason for this is because Square Enix obviously aren't going to start putting activity blips on motorways or on train tracks, right? Because that could result in some really terrible incidences occurring. But if the only time that someone is able to actually use the GPS mode while hands-free, while driving in the car or playing on the train, then I do hope that Square Enix can find a workaround so that they can still benefit from using the transport method they're currently using. This also makes me think about rural areas. It certainly seems as if the bulk of the Missing Link content can really only be found in suburban areas, so for the likes of someone that is living out in the countryside, myself, will these people be put at a significant disadvantage? Now, I've got some other smaller...
Yes. Yes, you will be put at a significant disadvantage, bro. You will.
Things to talk about here in regards to the banner
Same thing happened with Pokemon Go.
That for Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, these were bad. Basically, the drop rates of these, for some of them, were ridiculous, and the game was pretty much pushing you into the corner to be like, one more swipe of the 10,000 jewel pack, baby. Eventually, Square Enix did really bring in mercy pulling, but it still didn't overall kind of fix the issue. Again, this is just mobile phone game gacha setup 101, but it seems to be as bad as Union Cross here in Missing Link. Do know that there are guaranteed banners, so you spend your jewels, pull, and you will definitely get a 3-star piece. Currently...
Okay, so what are jewels? He mentioned jewels now. What are jewels, bro? So is that 3 in-game currencies? AP, activity coins, and jewels? You know what's really frustrating is that the story of this game is about to be so important. It's about to be probably one of the most important story beats of this franchise. Like, it is literally called Missing Link. I guess my gripe with it right now is that if this story is about to be so important and so essential and integral to the overarching plot of the entire franchise, I would at least like the gameplay to be fleshed out and very well put together. But when it's a mobile game like this which seems to be is gonna be free and is gonna be like pay to win, I suppose. If it's not fun to play, And then like the story, like, because I remember in Union Cross, the gap between story points and cutscenes and like those like that, they were so large. Like there was so much time in between cutscenes and story points and plot points. So it's just like, if this is about to be a story that's so important, man, like, why do we have to go this route? I'm sorry, we're gonna finish the video, I promise.
The highest star piece. But Sai has mentioned that outside of the guaranteed 3-star pieces, he hasn't had a 3-star pull at all. Sai's little recommendation here is to save jewels and only spend them on must-haves and busted pieces that are released throughout the game's life cycle. Don't get too far ahead of yourself when it comes to spending jewels, just like Union Cross. Always make sure you've got a bit of a supply. Rare versions of enemies are a thing here, and you'll come across them while you're exploring the astral dimension. You do get a specific currency for completing rare enemy encounters known as rare enemy coins. These can be used to buy cosmetics. Seems that Square Enix have put the heavy emphasis on rare because Sai has cleared 21 area bosses and 89 area enemies, and none of them have been rare. For context, 21 area bosses is a lot. So it would seem as if they do need to increase the rate in which you come across rare enemies.
And that's what I was saying in the beginning, was that like there has to be, like, for the closed beta to have been in May, and they were dead silent after that, and then we had one before that. And this seems to be exactly what happened last time, was that there was a beta, dead silence, update, and now again beta, and then dead silence. 6 months of just dead silence. They have to be doing something for like rebalancing. Something is off and something is not right.
Though, I do kind of like this because it means that anyone that can be seen wearing the rare enemy coin cosmetics, it means that those items will definitely be sought after. So there's a kind of collection aspect behind those. So I mentioned that in the first beta, when customizing your character, you could move the camera to see specific parts of your character that you are customizing. Here in the second beta, that camera rotation has been mysteriously taken out. Seems like a really strange change to make. I do hope that for the full version this is reinstated. I mentioned that this is especially annoying for when you're putting on back piece cosmetics. You can't even rotate your character in order to see what that even looks like. So yeah, no doubt this will be something that will be changed. I've also noticed here within Beta 2 that the character's head within the heads-up display no longer moves like it did in Beta 1. This is a really small thing, and it's not absolutely necessary that this needs to be here. I, for one, am a little bit disappointed by this. Maybe it's got something to do with the performance side of thing with the game, where it's just, there's no point in having the character's head bobbing. But the character head bobbing definitely brings me back to those early Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers, and it was fantastic to see this sort of reinstated for Missing Link. Your trial progression is always on screen. There is no way to minimize it or close it. These are like little mini side objectives to do for rewards. I'm sure that all participants will be giving feedback towards this because it's really annoying to have this little text box constantly on your screen. Now to quickly just comment about performance, we know that Square Enix added graphics options, so now the game has low, medium, high, and ultra graphics settings. This second beta was actually delayed 2 months out because Square Enix needed more time for optimization. Sai's mentioned that he stumbled across more issues here with Beta 2 than he did with Beta 1, coming across more frequent frame drops as well as game crashes. Now for reference, Sai is using an iPhone 12, and for most of his beta experience, he was playing the game on high to ultra. Since facing a lot of these issues, mainly like crashes, he has dropped the game down to medium graphics settings, and a lot of these problems have been alleviated. One of Square Enix's goals is
by
to
the time
make sure
this
that
beta
this
came
game
out,
can
we
be
were on
played on
iPhone
as
15,
many devices as possible. I know for a mobile phone game that looks as good as Missing Link does, considering it's also a UE engine game, it must be absolutely strenuous because of how many different mobile phones there are out there to ensure that for a good portion of these devices, the game will work, whether being played on low or ultra. No doubt Missing Link will receive further optimization in the performance department by the time the final game releases. And before I wrap this up,
consistent story updates.
There were times there that we were waiting anywhere from 6 months to a year for a substantial Union Cross update. The question of how often will the story be updated was asked to Nomura in December of last year, with him responding.
That's a whole nother thing too. I already know the answer to this question. I was gonna ask, is this gonna be a situation where it's just like Union Cross and Dark Road, where we're just gonna get like story updates like once, twice a year? And like how long though? How long are we doing that, man? Like, oh gosh. Oh, I don't want this game anymore. I don't want this. I don't want it. I shouldn't say that. I want it. I want it. It's Kingdom Hearts, man. I want the game. I want it. Just don't want it like this. Not again. Not again.
Honestly, how many months did it take for some updates back in Union Cross? That kind of thing is just unforgivable nowadays. So it is great that the team knows and understands that people were absolutely not happy with how consistent the story was for UX. Hopefully it's a very different case here in Missing Link. Also too, not all of the cutscenes and story bits will be full-blown cutscenes. Nomura did mention that not all of them will be to the level of what you see within the first few story scenes of the game. So that's some issues and needs for me.
I don't. Okay, look. If we're gonna be waiting months for story, you better give me cutscenes, baby. Yeah, those cutscenes better be prime. Okay, better be premium cutscenes. If I'm waiting months, don't give me no text boxes, bro. No text boxes. I don't want no text boxes, okay? Cutscenes. Need cutscenes. But I'll finish it. Finish the video.
Just finish the video. That not all of them will be to the level of what you see within the first few story scenes of the game. So that's some issues and needs for Missing Link as of right now. Not totally all bad, there is just a few things, and I do hope that for the casual audience, this has answered a few of your questions. Yes, the game is absolutely going to require you to go outside into the real world and dig yourself into some soil. The most crucial aspect as of right now is to allow everyone to be able to access the story content of this game without needing a constant upkeep of playing it. This was a pretty big issue with Union Cross, and most people ended up just resorting to YouTube to watch the cutscenes, and especially for when this service eventually ends,
and I played a lot of Union Cross. Okay? A lot. And it got to the point where it just was not worth the time. It was not worth the time, and it was not worth the money. And I think it's balancing, man. That's all it is, because I would not mind spending some money on AP or whatever I was spending money on in Union Cross if I felt like it was worth it. It didn't feel like it was worth it because I didn't know how many of those quests or these objectives that I would have to do in order to just get to the next story or to the next plot point. Like, like I said, the gap was so huge sometimes. So I didn't, I spent some money on some gems or whatever they were, and I bought some medals, and it just didn't seem like it was worth it. It wasn't worth the money, and it wasn't worth the time. So I believe that they have taken a lot of the criticisms and feedback from Union Cross and are trying to make this a better experience overall for everyone. But from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like what they have done is much better at all, unfortunately. And it seems like they're starting to realize that more and more, so they just keep delaying and delaying and delaying, and probably playtesting like privately, I suppose, not like doing open beta or closed betas, but they're like doing playtesting, and probably finding out that that's what I keep going back to, that gameplay loop. That gameplay loop has to be good. It has to be on point for this to work, especially if you're gonna make people go outside. That by itself is insane. So if you're gonna make people go outside, this gameplay loop better be top freaking tier. Finish the video.
We still have a really tight story mode there that anyone can access at any time and almost play it like a normal Kingdom Hearts game. However guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my other social media platforms like my Twitter and my Instagram. Thank you so much to my turkey-tastic patrons. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day, and we'll talk real soon.
Great video by Jared. And I'm glad he was able to get that content and share it with everyone. I know I'm super late to this. I know I'm like dumb late to the party on learning about what the beta was like for Missing Link. I think I'm 6 months behind now, and I guess like what I'm saying might fall on deaf ears at this point, but I am not excited for this. Based on what I've seen, I'm not excited for this anymore. I can't really say I was, because like I said, I'm not a mobile game player. I'm excited for more Kingdom Hearts content. I'm excited for more Kingdom Hearts story. Like that's just like that's all I ever want is more Kingdom Hearts. So I can't complain too much about that. But knowing that this is the priority before KH4, it's like, just put it out already and just give me KH4, bro. Like, just put it out so I can like know, just give me the story, please. But I don't know, man. I guess we'll see what the next update is. I think the game does look, when I'm looking at the gameplay itself, like on its own, it looks fun and it looks good. But I just can't help think that at some point it's gonna get extremely repetitive, especially if it's gonna end up like how Union Cross did, with waiting months for updates and you just like, there's long gaps in between plot points. I mean, they're clearly doing their thing visually, and let me bring this back up here. Everything looks great. I mean, this looks like KH3 if you were to put it on a PS3. Like it does look good. So their efforts are not going unnoticed, and they're clearly very talented and good at what they do when it comes to this. Like I said, I just hope that this gameplay loop is gonna be good. And if I'm being honest, like I think the first phase of this will actually be really good. But after that, I can see this getting stale. I can see it getting stale, especially because of the going outside thing and the AP thing. Like, okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. This is the last thing I'll say about it, and I'm out. I keep going back to this idea of it just being worth the time and being worth the effort and the money. And one thing that goes into calculating whether or not something is worth it, or determining whether something is worth all that, is thinking about what it is that you're sacrificing, or what it is that you're bypassing. What advantage are you getting? And for me, if I'm like playing the game and I'm like, okay, well, let me buy some more activity coins so that I don't have to go outside. That just sounds... It doesn't sound very logical. I'm trying to be nice, but it just doesn't sound... Just like, I can't get myself to like say that out loud without just like being like, this is dumb. It'd be different if it was like, okay, I'm gonna pay for these activity coins so I can skip these couple of missions. Or like, I'm gonna pay for these activity coins so that I can get this really cool weapon so that I can continue to straight mow down enemies. No, I'm paying activity coins so I don't have to go outside. That is... I can't. Yeah. I will remain optimistic because there is a delay, and I have to believe that they're trying to rebalance things and make things just make a little more sense. That's my hope. But otherwise, like I said, good video. Thank you, Jared, Cynical at the Gamers Joint, for putting this together for us and allowing us to see this at this point. I'll put the link in the description as well. And yeah, hopefully there'll be more updates soon. I don't know when there will be, but they said look forward to updates soon with that last update that they gave a few days ago. So I don't know. We'll see.